Hello and welcome to the BSRTC Pro Series live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Marco Barbnet with Sam Kume on the cameras. And we're here at Sonoma. A circuit that divides opinion, I would say, Marco. But personally, I very much like this place. And it should give us a lots of interesting racing, I think. I think there could be a few crashes out there.
Like a good friend of mine used to say, this is the track where the camels roam, and I'm not talking about the cigarettes, of course, but about the animals, because we have these distinctive surroundings, which make it very, very difficult to pick a good braking spot in most of the corners. And that's too bad, because, you know, usually during the spring, this place has got vegetation all around it, but we all know it in this desert-like state. It's going to be tough. We are running the longer version, so arguably, Sam, the most difficult version of the track possible. It's going to be chaotic. We've got some nice elevation changes, and as you can see, track goes twisting and turning all along this beautiful, beautiful Sonoma region.
Yes, and of course we've only got a couple more rounds before the showdown. At least I believe that is the case. I think we've got 2 more rounds. This is the penultimate one for the showdown. And I don't know if you got the points on the screen right now. I don't know if we have actually got the points. But yes. Yeah, they are on the screen for you now. I can't see them as my iPad fails to load it. But Nico Foggy, according to this at least, is leading the way. A long way ahead of Dave Baker, with Steven Baxter in 3rd and Wojciech Swidovic in 4th position. But I think it's the top 12 that get through, and therefore, of course, we need to watch out for probably Simpson, Blackhall, Stevens, Laidler, Sakovic, and Woodhouse. Woodhouse quite a long way behind, so it's going to be difficult for him to make his way in there. But it's really difficult to get into the showdown, isn't it, Marco? And for these drivers to achieve that would have been one of their aims at the start of the season, and they would love to achieve that today.
Yes, absolutely. You want to get that ticket punched as early as possible, as we have the starting grid on your screens right now. It's going to be a great battle for these final few showdown positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Wojciech Swidovic in 4th position in the championship, about 100th of a second faster than Ross McFarlane in qualifying, ahead of Ashley Sutton in 3rd, and Dave Baker and Nico Foggy, championship leader, rounding out the top 5. It's always going to be very close between that front runners, Marco. Anyone? Do you think Wojciech will be able to, hold on to the lead? We know that he's very experienced in the lead of races. He should be able to keep his cool out in front.
I mean, he got pole barely, so it's not a lock that he's going to win this race. Of course, he starts in a premium position. That first corner, that left-hander, then the right-hander is probably could be chaotic. Also, if you look, you see on the right side of that first corner, the wall is extremely close. So if you get punted on the way to the right, you might end your race prematurely.
Yes, very unique kind of. It's a unique circuit, to be fair, this Sonoma circuit. And like Marco was saying, in the middle of nowhere, it appears. I think there's something like 300 events going on across the year, actually, at Sonoma. It's used for, drag racing, all kinds of events across NASCAR, I think, still come here.
Yes.
Pretty crazy.
And there are some fantastic wines in the regions near Sonoma that has been compared a lot to Tuscany in Italy for the quality and the taste of their wines. Never tried them.
Well, we'll be hoping that none of the drivers have drunk any of that so far. And Wojciech Swidovic is about to get underway. I'm not sure, I think a couple of drivers didn't get to the grid. We have just run out of time. We are seconds away from the start here, and away we go. Swidovic with a nice start and straight away covers off the inside and gets a nice little run into turn 2. Trying to pressure him is Ross McFarlane. Already Baker past Sutton, and can he make that move stick? No, Sutton on the inside there and might just be able to hang on, but back comes McFarlane here, and just trying to come back is Baker. So can't quite make the move on Sutton in the end, and actually Nicole Foggy right behind him, having to go defensive there is Dave Baker, with Glatzel getting involved, and he might fancy his chances round the outside. This would be a superb move, but he can't quite make it. A lot of near moves there, Marco, but no one being able to make it stick.
Yes, status quo maintained throughout the first positions as we go down the hill in the left-hander. Very, very easy to run wide. And then on the backstretch, as you can see, the drivers will make a left turn because we are on the longer layout, getting ready for another hard braking zone into this right-hander.
Incredibly difficult to spot your second apex. At least I found it difficult in the Daytona prototype. I could never get that right. But I'm sure these drivers are a whole lot better than I, and they are dealing with that very well currently. Steven Baxter down one position so far. The kind of no major movers. Alex Simpson up 3 positions from 16th on the grid, so he's the big gainer out of the top 20 or so. Chris Wood down 4 positions. Martin Front up 5, and here we go into the hairpin. It's such an opportunity to make a move down here, and Simpson actually trying to make that move on Stuart McFadden, and actually you'll have the inside here for turn 1. There's a couple of moves just ahead as well, and Robert Graham into the wall.
Yeah, let's get the replay. I was about to talk about I talked about the first corner with the wall on the right. That same holds true for that. Oh, teammates! Oh, a flip there by number 34. Seemed like a, not a major crash, but that was very, very bad. So, last corner and the first corner have the right wall on there. Very, very easy to get punted there, or if you just lose the car, you go into the fence. And also that final hairpin, it's very easy for the drivers to lock the rears and then go like a bowling ball and then strike all the drivers that are doing the hairpin if you lock the brakes, getting into that corner there.
Oh, that could be a great move from Sutton, but it's anything but. It's a very bad move in the end from Ashley Sutton. He has tapped round Ross McFarlane, and they've both come tumbling down the field. Sutton down into 10th. McFarlane, where is he now? 17th. Starting on the front row. Here it was from Sutton. Just got on that Kirby. I like the idea there, Marco, but it was just not quite on, considering the tight line that those drivers take through that section of corners.
Yeah, also a very dangerous rejoin there. I think by both of these drivers, of course, they were a little bit angry, I think, and they didn't consider that, as we see cars there into the gravel. Oh, once again, here the hairpin, like I said, 3 wide, making contact left and right. It's very, very nice and fun to bounce your car in that curve there, like Ash Sutton did, but that was a bit too much, I think. And yeah, this early in the race, it's not recommended. We have a slow car there on the right, I think.
Stuart McFadden, I think, tumbling down the order currently, and there he is. So I assume that's not a slowdown. Could have been, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I doubt he'd lose that much time, but he is back going now, the CQR Academy driver, but right to the rear of the field, down some 11 positions from his starting place. So he's got a long race to go now. Does mean that out in front, Suridovic has got a very handy lead. I think he's got about a 2-second lead out in front, with Nicole Foggy now up into 2nd place, so up 3 positions is Foggy. Must have made that move on Baker then at some point, and here comes Glatzel, and nearly managing to make that move on Jamie Rushworth. Rushworth now up 5 positions, so again we didn't see the move that I think he made on Glatzel earlier on. But can Glatzel respond here? He's right on his tail, maybe looking for a move any which way. He's almost into the back of his rival, but now can he get a good run into the hairpin? This is a fantastic opportunity. He's got to go to the inside, but Rushworth covered it off, and now Glatzel's got to be concerned about the drivers behind potentially, because there they are queuing up. But no, so far no moves, but McIntyre actually making the move on Harrod there, and that should be pretty simple into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, all these drivers on the bubble are extremely happy that their 2 rivals in front went out of the race. Of course, I'm talking about Sutton and McFarlane, and that they want to get as much points as possible from this first race, of course. So I'm talking about drivers like Alex Simpson, for example, who are not certain to get that showdown spot as yet. So But of course they don't need to do. They need to avoid doing what happened to their rivals, so crashing because of too much aggressiveness. But you know, it's easier said than done, especially in a series like this. I mean, these cars were basically a long snake throughout the field, the nose to tail, everybody jostling for position, and still a long way to go.
Oh, I thought there was going to be a move there from Glatzel on Rushworth. He's all over the back of him. Harrod then also trying to make the move, of course, on McIntyre, trying to respond after I think McIntyre got passed on the last lap. Simpson now up 6 positions, and you can just see him just off the back of the snake of this, snake of cars. Number 2 driver, but he is going to be onto the back of them very soon. That's going to be quite a battle once we get that. Just a little bit of an update actually on the leaders. Don't know if we can compare lap times here. So Wojciech Swidovic on that last lap did here we go. Well, he lost half a second on the last lap. Let's see what the times are this time. Swidovic taking a slightly unusual line there. A 36.4 compared to Foggy's 35.7, and he got a slowdown. And Wojciech Swidovic, well, clearly it was a slowdown earlier on then for McFarlane, and yeah, all kinds of issues going on now. So Glatzel trying to make that move on purpose, and might just make it. He's going to have to stick around the outside through the first part of this chicane though. He should find that with ease, though, Glatzel, and into P4 he goes. But what a mistake there, Marco, from Wojciech Swidovic.
Yes, I think it's very easy to get a slowdown in the hairpin there if you take a line that's a little bit too much on the inside part of the curb. You might get a slowdown, and as you know, big contact there.
Saved it though, Rushworth. Well done. That's all there. Just a little bit over aggressive. Rushworth's only lost 2 positions from that, but he's under pressure from Harrod with Baxter and Melroy and Simpson as well. This is going to be absolutely chaos going into this next 2 90-degree corners. Oh, he's just going a little bit wide, and maybe Simpson will be able to go through. Still defending though is that Harrod there, just losing out to Rushworth again. And sorry, Baxter. Yeah, Baxter just losing out to Harrod, I think.
Yeah, Diogo Melro right behind them, and Alex Simpson also in there. Basically, this contact compacted the group once again, and we have a lot more cars in this group than previously. Hard braking once again. Look at that. Basically, they are touching each other into the hairpin. It's like a long station wagon, basically. Do you say station wagon in the UK for those like family cars, very long? Or
so were they?
They know that family cars, like, you know, those big Volvos, very long cars.
Okay.
In Italy we call them station wagon, but I think it's
estates. I think they're called in the UK.
We like to make up English words in Italy, so it's entirely possible we made that up. So back to the racing now. Down the hill once again. Pete Harrod in P7, Rushworth in 6th, battling all queued up behind Sven Glatzel, who is trying to gain a little bit of an advantage over these guys. As we go through this long left-hander. Luckily no one has gone into the mound there, because that would be a very spectacular crash. Not something that you want to do.
Oh, here's a move potentially for Rushworth, trying to make his way back up through the field. And yeah, making the move on McIntyre. Was McIntyre defending? I'm not sure, but they are side by side through the Estes here, and that is great racing from the pair. Then Rushworth just about pulling ahead and just about taking that position, but no, he's coming back for more, and that could be a response from McIntyre. McIntyre around the outside, and there could be interest from behind as well. Rushworth trying to stick in there. McIntyre can't go defensive, didn't quite have the overlap. He doesn't need to go defensive, or maybe he did do, because Rushworth is going to get that move done eventually. McIntyre just a little bit wide, and now Rushworth can go and chase down Sven Glatzel.
Meanwhile, in the back of the picture, Ash Sutton went by Alex Simpson with a very aggressive move down the hairpin. Nice replay there, thank you Sam Kumo, look at that. Left, right, he found the gap. Very gentlemanly of Alex to leave a little bit of a gap there, because that could have been, could have ended up in tears.
And that was pretty much a dummy in the middle of the corner, wasn't it? Quite incredible. Just about got away with it, but Simpson had to be very wary there of the move. Baxter trying to make the move on Howard now, and Howard dropping down another position then. And Melray right behind Sutton's going to bound. They're bound to be on these guys very soon. Already made the move on Michael Hall. Side by side once again hit for 7th position. Howard actually responding. Baxter not quite being able to make the move, and Melray, surely there was contact between the two of them there. And once again we're going to get side by side action through this SS section, and just about pulling ahead is Steve Baxter in the end.
Yeah, the Portuguese driver trying to find a way through, but he's not able to do that. Stuck in P9 right now. Let's see if he will try a move here at the airpin. He has a nice run. Following the inside is Baxter there. A lot of cones go flying. Miller on the inside, and there's contact there. Nice save by Baxter.
And into the tyres.
Is that Sutton?
That's Sutton, yeah. Oh, and we could get all kinds of chaos here because Sutton's surely got a damaged car now. Don't take anyone out with you, Sutton. Because I think he's probably out of this race now with the steering damage he's bound to have. Simpson getting stuck behind currently and just moving.
Oh, no.
Simmons, and there's all round. Simpson's round.
That's Colin Cunliffe, I think. I think that was Colin Cunliffe hitting the rear of Alex Simpson's car. Let's see it again. A lot of push and shove there, yes. Colin Cunliffe and Simpson going backwards. I don't think there's massive damage to his car, but of course you look at that, he's in P28, so massive position loss for Alex.
Well, even if Sutton does have some issues out there, he's not letting anyone know, but he is really under pressure currently, and Jack McIntyre might just be able to yeah, make the move, or sorry, losing out to Jamie Rushworth. No, sorry, trying to make the move is Jack McIntyre on Jamie Rushworth. They've been swapping positions through this race. I never quite know which one is defending and which one is attacking because they are so evening. Still Glatzel within firing range of them. And Sutton, by the way, has now dropped down into 12th position and is under big pressure from Brian Holmes just behind. Is McIntyre close enough here to go for a move on Rushworth? No, a little bit earlier on the brakes, but Rushworth tiny bit wide, and that's just inviting the car behind to believe that he can make this move in the final 7 minutes of this race.
Big bad news for Ash Sutton, because you went into the pit, so you were right in the first place. Terminal damage for the 0-1 car, and that's his race done. As you can see, Baker under big pressure from Wojciech Sviridovich, the defending champion.
Yeah, so yeah, Baker finally making that move. I don't know if we can maybe see a replay of that, because I think that's quite a recent move then, that Baker's being able to pull on Sviridovich. Remember, was leading the race in the early stages, but got a slowdown penalty, lost the lead to Foggy, and here it was. So maybe it was a mistake actually from Sviridovich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. Just lost the rear end through the S's, and actually seemingly was putting a little bit of pressure on Nico Foggy coming back at him, but not anymore, and he's going to do very well to reclaim that position now.
If I'm not mistaken, Wojciech lost 2 positions for his slowdown, so I think he went past Baker and then Baker got by him again in the previous lap. Because I remember seeing 2 cars go by him when he took that slowdown earlier in the race.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. But yeah, not the day that Wojciech wanted, but he could be able to redeem himself here. Maybe into the inside, going into the hairpin. Little bit later on the brakes though, but Wojciech has the better line on the exit. And it's just about who can get the better run through this final corner. Trying to cover him off there is Wojciech, trying to take the inside line, but couldn't quite get a full car's like ahead. Now he can, and the number 1 car moves back up into 2nd place.
That was a brave move by Wojciech on the outside there. As soon as he got the clear from his spotter, he went on the inside. That was so close in touching with Baker, but he was able to complete the pass, gets P2. Of course, Nicole Fogg is profiting from this battle, and he is nicely in the lead. 5 minutes left on the clock, so he is looking good. 3.6 seconds ahead of his closest rival, so it should be easy going from now on for the Scotsman.
Yeah, who would have thought this from 5th on the grid against such quality opponents, and he's just profited from their mistakes, really. Made a move on Dave Baker early on, and then has just benefited from Sarudovic's mistake, and then Sutton, and was it McFadden as well, colliding earlier on. So, yeah, just profited from that, made up the positions, and it looks like it's going to be another race victory for the championship leader. McIntyre still interested in the move on Rushworth currently. Quarter of a second between the pair of them. It's all about this run, I think, Marco. Whenever we see it, a driver getting a good run from that corner, they're always in range for this hairpin. But that time, just not quite good enough, not quite the momentum that he needed to really mount an attack.
It is so enticing when you go into that corner, you see you are very close to your opponent. It's almost impossible to resist the urge to try and move on the inside there. So that's why we are seeing a lot of attempts there. Not all of them have been successful, and of course the risk of a collision is extremely high there. Also, Sam, you don't have the luxury of, you say, I mean, there's a mistake, I go on the inside. No, because you have the tire barriers and they are extremely hard. So you hit them like it happened to Sutton, and race is effectively over.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a unique hairpin, isn't it? With the tire barriers on the outside and also the wall. You don't want to be too wide through that part of the circuit. It's narrow, can very easily get squashed out. And yeah, of course, earlier on we did see Ash Sutton fall victim to that. Michael Hall trying to make the move. Oh, sorry, George Simmons. Not sure who's ahead. Here we go. Simmons is just behind, and making the move is Simmons. Simmons was leading on at the start of this lap, let's say, and has been defending so far. Hall very much interested in the move because he fell back after a bit of a collision earlier on when they all kind of had a bit of a cluster a few laps ago. Dropped right down to the back of the train. He's trying to redeem himself now. We have got an incredible change just behind. It's from 15th position to 26th, I think. So quite a hefty chain. And here it is, all fighting against one another. And currently, Ross McFarlane trying to make his way back up through the field. Remember, he was running in 2nd position early on, but far away from that after a collision with Ash Sutton.
Nicole Foggy, I don't think he got the white flag. I think he will get it this time around. So we are going to have this lap and another one, if my calculations are right, which they rarely are, but I'm quite confident this is the case this time. These guys here battling for the top 20 effectively. Every point matters, especially this late in the season. I mean, they matter all season long, but it's if you lose points in one of these final races, you are going to regret this because they are the freshest in your memories, So, and you are driving with a position in your mind. I mean, I want to finish here so I can get this amount of points. So everybody is running on a razor's edge, trying to get these last few points remaining in order to get their ticket for the showdown. And these drivers, Sam, are driving in a very aggressive way. They are a bit desperate, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, those drivers who have already confirmed their spots, let's say they can take a few liberties, I think, in these closing stage because, I guess they'll be desperate even more for the win because I think you get bonus points if you win a race or get podiums, but you don't get bonus points if you finish anywhere else. Here's a move, Nathan Davies having to defend against Ross McFarlane. McFarlane tries to make his way back up through the field and he's up into the top 16 now. Now 14 positions from his start, of course. It's not the race he wanted. At least he's done well to recover, but he's not having it hit his own way currently. Just about pulls ahead there of Nathan Davies.
Yeah, and now I think Foggy got the white flag, but this battle is far from resolved. As you see right now, Glatzel trying to defend, hanging on this P4 as we enter the final lap of the race, and he's got Rushworth, McIntyre and Diogo Melro right on his tail.
Yeah, this could be an interesting hairpin. Haven't got too much to lose, of course. Even if you do absolutely smash your car to pieces, you've only got a few meters to survive. And so I think we could well see a move here from Rushworth or McIntyre if the Jamie doesn't go for the move. Out in the lead though, is Nicole Foggy, over 3 seconds out in front of Wojciech Suidovic. A mistake from Suidovic a few laps in has really cost him. Foggy, once he got track position, there's been no turning back. And as he rounds the final hairpin here, Nicole Foggy from 5th on the grid is going to round the final kink, and he's going to win race 1 in the BSRTC Championship leader. Extends his championship lead and crucially gets a few bonus points as well. Jamie Rushworth has made the move on Sven Glatzel. Glatzel trying to respond in the closing stages, but not quite. And in the end, Rushworth, really good drive from 9th on the grid, up into the top 4.
Yes, as all the drivers are crossing the start-finish line, going back to Foggy and Sviridovich, of course, when the pace is so similar between these top guys. If you make one mistake, you pay dearly for it, and that's what happened to Wojciech, of course. That slowdown made it possible for Foggy to get a little bit of a gap, and that was too much for Wojciech to recover. Also, he had a nice battle with his opponent for that second place, so Foggy was running alone, kept his cool, and got a very, very deserved race, winning this race 1. Of course, the fun has just started, Sam, because we have 2 more left of this. So, and of course, the spinning wheel will create some additional chaos, and I can't wait for race 2 because that was this track. I was a bit skeptic. It's providing for some fantastic racing tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think the most fun, of course, is going to be for you, Marco, spinning that wheel and listening to that tune.
No. It's going to be Sam, sadly, not me, too, spinning the wheel tonight.
I got so used to it, Marco. You must be absolutely devastated, I imagine. Anyway, the results.
Yeah.
Nicole Foggy wins by 3 seconds over Wojciech Suidovic. David Baker finishes in 3rd with Jamie Rushworth in 4th. Then it was Sven Glatzel, Jack McIntyre, Diego Melray, Pete Howard, Stephen Baxter and George Simmons rounding out the top 10. And that was Michael Hall, Brian Holmes, Rusty Laidler, Pete Newman, Adam Hadfield, Ross McFarlane, Nathan Davies, Chris Wood, Adam McNally and Michael Blake rounding out the top 20. Then it was Mark Woodhouse, Kip Stevens, Matthew Sakovic, Mark Johnston, Colin Cunniff, Paul Smith, Martin Funt, Alex Simpson, Stuart McFadden, Scott Malcolm, Lee Deemer and William Downs are all the drivers on the lead lap. And then Daniel Brown will be eligible, I think, for the reverse grid in 33rd. Ashley Sutton will not be. So he's going to have a long old day, finishing in 34th. There will be starting in 34th for the final, for the second race of the evening. Apologies. Jack Sedgwick finishes in 35th with Robert Graham and Max Wright rounding out the field. And we've built it up quite a bit now, Sam. It is time for the reverse wheel.
Yes, it is, and the wheel is on your screen right now. So let's not waste any time and let's spin it. The wheel is spinning and it has decided that we get 25.
25, that is Colin Cunniff. He'll be on pole position. To be fair, he deserves it, I think, because he got involved in a bit of a collision with Alex Simpson in that one, which wasn't totally his fault. So Colin Cunniff will be on pole position for race 2 of the evening, alongside Mark Johnston on the front row. That will be with you in about 25 minutes. Do not miss it. We'll be back with you soon. Lee Deemer is now only second behind Ralph Cullen. I don't know how that's happened. Cullen then was about 8 seconds ahead at one point.
Deemer has been now flying.
Yeah, a second a lap every lap. You know what, that kind of slow speed down the straights of the BMW may not be too costly, but Deemer, he's got so much more...
Oh, Cullinan with the big slide through the exit of Villeneuve.
Pressure.
Now he's really got to hold the inside line in Tosa. Now, Deemer gets a great exit Cullinan's going to have to block the inside into Piratella, surely. Surely he has to come across. Steamer's going to be through here, is he? No. These GT3 cars, they are quite large. So, you know, your vision can be obscured. This is a great exit. This could be a chance.
God, just go all out on the outside.
Really deep on the outside, and Cullinan loses rear, but he still somehow manages to fire the BMW out of the Tosa hairpin, level with the Mercedes, and the BMW is maintaining the straight line speed with the Mercedes. Here we go into Piratella. He throws it in, Cullinan. Does he have the adhesion? Does he have the grip? Yes, he does, is the answer. Dima tries to cut back, but Cullinan is on the inside for Aquaminerali. There is no overtaking through here. Now, Sam, this could be the moment for Dima. Maybe not into Variante Alta now, but he needs to just have a good chicane and set him up. Cullinan is breaking in the middle of the course.
Oh, he's wide.
Not the optimal line.
Oh, he's got to defend here. Got to go all out defense line. Get
he pushes him, he hits him. Makes a bit of contact on the straight now.
Oh, he's trying to steal the dummy. Oh, you got to defend. Is he going
to have a second chance? Is he going to be down the inside? Cullinan goes deep. He goes deep on the brakes. He's on the grass and leads.
He can get the run off.
But it's the final corner. And can Cullinan respond to that passing move by Dima? He's going to be very close. The line's coming up. Cullinan's got the shortest run, but I think it's going to be Dima. It is indeed. Lee Dima gets to the line and wins a brilliant battle. Brilliant.
Richard Warmingham, currently Evdoka's just a little bit ahead of him. Warmingham does take that lead, and it's going to be awkward for these final few corners. Warmingham floors it, he's away quick. Evdoka actually gets a pretty good run, but he's not going to be able to challenge across the start-finish line just behind Steve Lavelli. Under pressure from Stuart McFadden already, but it's Warmingham away well from the pole position. Evdoka challenging into turn one, and Lavelli having to go defensive against McFadden. McFadden looking to the inside. Could there be contact between these two? Not quite, but he's going to have to go defensive once again. Ayres just watching, just behind. Jamie Ayres could not quite take that. Stuart McFadden nearly took third position at the start of the race, but they're losing each other a lot of time now. And the top three pulling away up ahead. Ayres is just concentrated on trying to make this move. He's gone to the outside. Maybe can do a little bit of a dummy to the inside. Not quite. McFadden couldn't shove him off the circuit though, and round the outside goes Ayres. He just wants the cut back now, but they get on the power at a similar time. Slightly better traction there for Jamie Ayres, and McFadden is squeezing him right to the wall. That was good defense from Stuart McFadden. Ayres to the outside gain as the track narrows down the hill they go. A little bit deep on the brakes perhaps as McFadden, but there's not too much you can do on the exit of this corner because you're straight into the next complex. It's very much single file here, but Ayres goes into the back of McFadden ever so slightly, but that was nice defense from McFadden.
Quick glance at the front of the Mercedes, looks okay, as I think that is a dive bomb there. We see Cullinan on the inside of Malcolm. BMW against Mercedes, and he makes the move.
Another one coming up, Colin Robinson, and here we go side by side. McFadden on the outside, Ayres on the inside. It's going to be switched around though this time. Ayres has got to try to just hold it round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, but can he just stay level? Yes, he can, Stuart McFadden. That is brilliant driving there to just get his nose ahead, and he's going to have the inside as well into this hairpin. This is the great racing you can get around Motegi. Can he just push Ayres off? He tries to, and they make contact. That could have been a whole lot worse. Ayres may still even have the inside for the hairpin, but he really got his run compromised by that move from McFadden. Evdoka in the slipstream, just watching behind as the other XVR driver of Steve Labelli. Evdoka will look to the inside, and he's gonna maybe have his nose cut off a little bit. Warmium leaves too much space, and Evdoka is gonna have the inside for this next corner. No, he's not. The run from Warmium was just about good enough. He's gonna have to go defensive once again here. Evdoka flashing his lights, and he's gone to the inside here. Warmium round the outside, he's gonna have the inside for the next one, and he almost runs off the circuit now. Evdoka side by side, he's gonna have the inside for the next corner, and that should be job done for Michael Evdoka. That's a perfect move, really driving well there, Michael, and he's into the race lead.
Everybody has joined this fight for 4th place, and I think the sooner Ayres can pass McFadden, the better for him, because otherwise these guys will go to town and try to make moves left and right. Great defending there, once again, almost 3 wide going to the hairpin now.
Oh, there's nearly into the back of him. I think that Ferrari has a nice little bit of straight line speed, doesn't it, which just allows him to fend off any attack. That is a surprise though from Ayres, and he's trying to go for it at a corner that you would not dream of doing it, and it's going to leave him vulnerable now to Lane O'Connor. He's trying to move through. Cullinan nearly loses it in the background. Malcolm as well. Robinson trying to get involved. For now, it seems like McFadden's going to be fine. O'Connor to the inside of Jamie Ayres. The two Mercedes side by side, and they've made contact, and Ayres has lost 2 positions in a couple of corners. Yeah, the amount of cones dispatched there. Oh dear. Oh, down the inside. Oh wow, that was a nice attack from Ayres, and it's put Robinson off. That was brilliant from Jamie Ayres. That was a really nice little tactic to just glance to the inside, and he's got the power through this turn 6, and he's going to be able to pull ahead.
You see, Ayres is very, very close, but he's a little bit scared, I think, because it might happen that O'Connor's car can glitch.
Inside of him.
Inside, yeah. That's a way to make a pass.
Deliberate, was it?
Oh man, he went straight through him and got the. Maybe that was the only way somebody could pass McFadden tonight, because he's making that Ferrari very, very large. Let's see a replay.
This must have been a mistake. Yeah, that was so a mistake. That was not a deliberate move. McFadden, though, could get pushed off a little bit.
Probably will not hit you, as Cullinan goes once again very wide there at the final corner, but I think he got a bit scared, because you see this car in the rearview mirror. It's suddenly so big. As he goes for a move on turn 1, he says, "You are."
Ayres goes through. Ambitious move from a long way back into turn 1, and he was a long way back. Yeah, it's very clumsy there from Stewart. Yeah, it wasn't even on the brakes, was it? He was just a bit too eager to get on the throttle. He's been bang on. Malcolm, just watching this, he's not going to get involved in any unnecessary collisions. That's been his tactic for the entire season. And how has that profited him, Marco?
I had talked to him after last week's this week's, I should say, MX5 race.
No, come on.
No. Oh man.
We're so sorry. But here we go. Michael Evdoka going to come round the final few corners here at Motegi, and he's going to take another race victory. He's had a real upturn in pace these past few weeks, and here he comes, Michael Evdoka, to take race 1 here at Motegi. And what a good drive that was from him. So James Underhill round the final chicane now. Scott Malcolm along with him. They haven't gone too early here. When will he go? James Underhill from the pole position, and away we go for race 2 of the evening. It's not a great start. No, so they haven't gone. They all got on the brakes, and have gone. That was chaos, and Underhill has got to a horrendous start. Dima also got a poor start. It's Malcolm leading the race, but I wonder if that's going to be a jump start for him. There could be contact, and there is contact. The XVR drove around. Ayres was in there as well, but it's Malcolm in the lead with Robinson right on his tail. McFadden perhaps sees a potential race victory. Stuart McFadden down the inside of Colin Robinson, and they go into turn 5 now, and he has got that position.
Very surprised that there was nothing major, because you know,
change for the lead, sorry.
Yeah, change for the lead. Yeah, McFadden is in the lead.
He's now up into 5th position, up 5 places himself. Underhill is now down 6. What a chaotic first lap this is, and Dima's gone for the move, and that's a great move from Lee Dima on Colin Robinson.
And Malcolm went straight for the box, so he has a penalty.
And yeah, that's put his showdown chances maybe in a bit of jeopardy.
Synchronized spinning there. no contact, I think, between the two guys. It's going to be very defensive here on the inside. Let's see what Evdoka has in store for him.
Going defensive straight away with Stuart McFadden. You can just about muscle your way around the outside here, and Evdoka's going to try to do it. He's going round the outside here, and that's going to be an awesome move from Evdoka. McFadden tries to force him off, and now it's going to be side by side going into this next section of course. If McFadden can just hang it round the outside, he's going to have a chance. Evdoka trying to stay in there, but just cutting him off is McFadden. Now heading down this pit straight, and I'm sure McFadden will go right to the inside, right to the pit wall. Evdoka looks to the inside. He cannot find a way through.
To McFadden, and there Ayres is flashing his lights to Evdoka as they go once again back to the double left-hander here that will bring them under the bridge for the first time of the 2 times they get under the bridge.
Oh, he's going to crash.
Hard hit for Evdoka.
Like it's going to be in the corner of the car.
He hit that wall at home.
Wasn't it?
Look at that, he went on the grass. Lost the drive a little bit even on the sand, and that was a very, very, very hard hit. And he's holding the wheel, you see on the right side, to go straight.
So he's right on the tail of Lee Deemer. He's going to not qualify for the showdown. Either of these drivers, and Josh Thompson is going to look to the inside. Lee Deemer not putting up much of a fight, and Thompson moves up into the top 3 positions. He was quite comfortable in the lead, seemingly had the pace to fend off his rival. But now this is super, super close. This is where McFadden hit Lane O'Connor in the last race, and look at Thompson. He's gaining. Not going to be in with a chance into turn 1, but someone who does fancy his chances is James. And now Thompson's going to go through 1. He's going to go through 2 maybe. This would be an incredible overtake. Josh Thompson takes the lead of the race from absolutely nowhere, and it's only taken him a handful of laps to go from the back of the grid to the front of the grid. And whilst these two carry on fighting once against one another, and there's going to be contact. Ayres is round. Deemer moves up a position. Thompson in the lead.
Using the 2 dueling drivers as a pick basically, and getting into the corner in 3rd position and getting out of it in 1st position, as we see more contact there. I think that was Max Wright in his red car. Oh,
contact.
Stevens, save it. Oh man, in the gravel, 3 wide there, wasn't going to work, as McFadden is defending now from Lavalli, and now he's blinking.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Lavelli, and actually this time McFadden not defending. That's very uncharacteristic of him today.
Evdoka extremely close to McFadden there. He had to lift, otherwise there would have been contact.
Lavelli
is off. Lavelli had a very, very bad corner.
Oh, he's off again, and he's hit the wall. Well, he looked so strong, didn't he? And just lost it early on there. Maybe overheated the tyres a little bit. I just got on the grass, and it's clumsy there, similar to what Evdoka did, but with far worse consequences.
Let's see how will McFadden defend, of course, like he always does, all on the inside. Great run from Evdoka.
This is a repeat of the situation they had earlier on in the race, but Evdoka that time didn't feel the confidence to stick it on the inside. To be fair, McFadden was super late on the brakes, and that's compromised his run coming out of the final corner. And Evdoka sees a gap down the inside, but McFadden was not going to give him that gap, and Evdoka growing a little bit frustrated, and he's taking a slightly surprising line down into turn 1. This was the last lap of the race. Deemer tries to go for a move, and Evdoka's a little bit late in covering off, almost blocking off the Mercedes, and he might run into the side of McFadden. He has done. McFadden gets back the right way, but he's lost 2 positions straight away there. He might lose 4. Evdoka into 2nd place.
I mean, you are right. It was pretty clear from his body language that he was getting restless. And now a dive bomb from Javier, and somebody's around. Yeah, it's Deemer. Deemer in the grass.
Yeah, Josh Thompson coming round the final complex of corners now. In that McLaren, he's not going to challenge the championship now, but Josh Thompson crosses the line to win at Motegi. Race 2 of the evening goes his way. Here we go. Evdoka 2nd, Thompson 1st. Gonna round the final corner for race 3 of the evening, and away we go. Josh Thompson away really well in Evdoka. I thought he might have a good launch. it hasn't turned out that way because Ayres is pressurizing him into turn 1. But not quite. Ayres just has to back up.
At night we have to maybe have a bit of a adjustment on braking points, etc. As we see, Evdoka very aggressive and good defending from Thompson on the inside as Wormingham tries to attack Robinson, and I think he will be successful in this double right-hander under the bridge. The top 3 are extremely close, and I really want to see Evdoka do well in this race, and I want to see what his pace is.
Oh, he's hit him! That
man.
was very clumsy from Jamie Ayres, but Evdoka's kind of got away with it. He's going to lose out to Robinson and Dima. We've seen a lot of contact there, and Ayres is apologising a lot there profusely.
You think that flashing lights is code for apologizing?
Yesterday in the Euro V8, and that was very different equipment, very different circuit, and that was warming up. Oh dear! So many drivers have done that, Marco. Getting on the grass, and it's just, guys, stay within the white lines because it's suicide going up there. Might be able to extract a little bit more pace from it, just because I think he's got a little bit of damage on that car, and of course we saw earlier on.
Extremely fast stop.
Yeah, really
5
quick.
seconds. 4.5 seconds. Hopefully put enough fuel in the car.
Curveball coming in. On that last lap, on his first fast lap, Michael Evdoka 46.86. Josh Thompson 47.61. That's almost a second difference. And here comes Wormingham actually really close on Thompson. And we look to the inside here. Richard Wormingham, that's been as close as he's been.
It's an 8-second stop for Richard Wormingham. Neck and neck for the position here, and Wormingham is ahead.
They matched each other through sectors 4 and 5, and Josh Thompson's still stationary. He's still stationary. It's 11-second stop, and that's surely going to be enough for Richard Wormingham to take the lead of the race. Josh Thompson might even be behind Michael Evdoka. He is. He's down into P3, and he's got all the work to do now. I don't know if we could just ride on board with him maybe for half a lap or so. Just see if he's lifting and coasting, because I'm surprised by this downturn in pace, because you remember on his first full lap.
He's in.
Wormingham rounding the final few corners now. Here he comes, Richard Wormingham, to take race 3 here at Motegi. Fantastic drive from him.
Yeah, the Macca's not good. Let's just clear that up. I'm just going to clear this up now. It's the worst GT3 on the grid, by a mile. The Merc drove up to me by about 4/10 on the straight. The Audi has more mechanical grip. It's just an absolute weapon of a car.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the BSRTC Pro Series. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Marco Barbanet with Sam Kume on the cameras. And Marco, we just saw a fantastic opening race with the 25 car reverse grid. I think we're going to see once again a very good event around this very narrow and twisty circuit.
Yes, I'm pointing the finger to number 5, Mark Woodhouse. He starts in P5. He has a great chance to secure some points, and he needs them in order to secure his showdown position. So it's going to be crucial for him, I think, this race. Let's see how he goes. Could be a dark horse for the race win.
Yeah, definitely, and also Kip Stevens up there as well. He needs the points as well, only just in the spots currently. We are about to get running here. Grid is set. Race 2 of the evening. And it's kind of from pole position. And away we go. Really good start for Canopy. He's going to be able to hold off Johnston through the first couple of corners, seemingly. Not too much change just behind. Still side by side a long way down the field. But currently no changes of position for the top 10 drivers. Brian Holmes already gained past Rusty Laidler. As Nathan Davies also going past Chris Wood as well. And now having to defend from Chris Wood currently as they go side by side just behind Davies. Going defensive in the 37 car and just about holds on to that position in 8th place. But a very clean start once again, Marco.
Yeah, only problem I think was for Harold around P20, because I saw him drop on the live timing. but apart from that, everybody's behaving nicely, and of course, as we've seen, the chaos tends to happen later in the race. But you know, with the reverse, the chaos might happen right now. Look at that, almost 4 wide into the hairpin.
Yeah, McNally just losing a position. I think I saw that. Davies now up 2 positions, so he's up in 7th place. Oh, great start. This is for Nathan Davies. Laidler still seemingly losing positions, down 3 positions already. And is he under pressure once again from Diego Melri and George Simmons? 2 drivers beats him in race 1, so they should be a little bit faster. And they are just lining up behind Simmons actually with a really good run on Melri. There's a couple of overtakes just ahead as well. Melri could lose out here. 2 Simmons, and there's a big Constantino effect. 1 driver goes slowly and all the rest pile in behind. Somehow squeezing through there, I think was Sven Glatzel, was it? I'm not quite sure.
Somebody blew his engine there in the final corner. I don't know who it is, but there's a big plum of smoke there. Who's that? It's Alex Simpson. Oh man, terrible for Alex. He needed those points, and I think it's going to be a DNF for him. Let's see, I think he got into the tire barrier extremely hard. Oh, unlucky. Very unlucky though.
Yeah, that's the definition of unlucky, I think. That is quite extraordinary that happened. You could not try that. Probably, yeah, 100 times he probably can achieve that. Quite incredible for Alex Simpson. And yeah, he is, yeah, back to the pits now. So that's, hopefully he'll be able to get eligible for the reverse grid. But it's another very costly performance for Alex Simpson. Who's, he was in the showdown spots. May not be anymore. It's so close in those standings. Colin Cunningham still leading this race. They had a strong pace in race 1, to be fair. He was out of position because of a collision with Alex Simpson in race 1. But right now, he's certainly showing how he has got good pace, holding off Mark Johnston comfortably at the moment. And it's really about, I think, Marco, those front runners from earlier on making their way through the field, because I think these guys don't really have a match for Cunningham, can't they?
Yeah, you can see the smoke still present there from that blown engine. For Alex was trying also to get his car back onto the, or maybe it wasn't the engine, but I think it was like the smoke from his tires trying to get down from that tire bundle there. So maybe we'll be able to stay 1 lap down and not lose the 2nd lap. So we'll see. I mean, crazy battling here right now. McFarlane also now going at it. You see with I think that is Wood and also Holmes on the inside, almost 3 wide, going down into the double right-hander. Some contact for good measure. Oh, sorry, we are in a different part of the track. My mistake. We are going up the hill. It is probably the best section of the track. Again, almost 3 wide, 2 by 2 right now. I think also Hatfield, yeah, is in the mix there.
Yeah, I think McFarlane just about making that move. Another driver out of position. He could be a big dark horse maybe for a podium in this race as Hall goes so wide. And you can see he's miles off the circuit. Will get a superb run, but I think just gets kind of a bit held up by the drivers ahead because he had nowhere to go. And in the end actually lost a position. That was Adam Hadfield, so losing out. So yeah, it's McFarlane, Wood and Holmes, then Hadfield. And Michael Hall only just behind as well. 2 positions gained for him so far. And this chain could just gain and gain because there's another chain about 8 tenths behind. You can see for yourselves. It's quite a hefty chain right there. Looking for the inside and actually leaving a little bit too much room. Maybe there was Brian Holmes and Chris Wood could lose out here. But Holmes, yeah, couldn't quite get the run out.
Another lap in the books. So of course, this is a race 1, so a timed race. This one is a lap race. I mean, we finish in 13 laps time, so drivers have a definitive amount of laps they know they have in their hand if they want to make the moves. This battle for P7 looking very interesting with Blake leading the way and a little bit of a gap between himself, another car, and then the cars behind them. And of course, right behind them as well, this battle for P10. I mean, there are cars, I think 5 cars or 6 cars in 1 second. Here he is, Blake, trying to close in on Davies as they go on the backstretch once again for the 4th time in this race.
McFarlane's done a great job at already getting to the back of these guys. He saw him make the move around this part of the circuit on the last lap, and he's already managed to catch up. And McNally all over the place. He's going to get an awful run here, and Ross McFarlane might be able to gain another position. And it's straight through he goes. McNally backs out of that one. McFarlane up into 8th place now.
Yeah, very brave move there, because if your opponent doesn't back out of that, you are probably going, if you're lucky, out of the racing line into the dirty stuff, or you can also risk of running, you know, out of the racing line onto the grass or the sand there. And contact at the hairpin. Holmes and Wood, I think, and some more contact, but they were able to save it both times. Of course, this is a massive slowdown, and everybody's piling right behind them. Could be a very, very dangerous situation, Sam.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to keep track of who's who in this battle, but it's very difficult. Oh, down the inside once again. That wasn't going to happen for Michael Hall, number 4. Adam Hadfield just about hanging on to that position. We saw him go way off the circuit earlier on. But yeah, hanging on to that position at the moment with a long, long chain of cars just behind. I don't know how... yes, Simmons has fallen down the order. He was running a little bit higher, I think, earlier on in this race, but yeah, just dropping down a little bit and now under pressure from Steve Baxter, who goes around the outside. It's all about the run out of this corner. Simmons just about holds him off. And of course, Rusty Laidler is right on their tail as well.
Now, once again, back to the double right-hander, like you said before, very tough to get your second apex right. Also, Diogo Melro is in this scrap here. He's banging doors with another driver. As we see, one of the drivers there has got a connection issue. He has been popping in and out of our cameras several times in this lap. And it is Wojciech Zviridovich trying to make a move on McIntyre for P23. Of course, Sam, we have to say, clarification, he had hardware issues in the first race, not a slowdown.
Yes, it was well disguised, to be fair. I was completely fooled by it. It looked like a standard slowdown, considering what we saw a couple of laps previous. I think we just saw maybe a little bit of a nudge there, but back to the replay with George Simmons.
He's the... terrible crash.
Quite a hefty.
Look at that. Two cars flying in the air. One was Simmons, trying to identify the other car. Simmons is still there. I think was Baxter. The other guy was Baxter. The other guy flying in the air with the English flag on his roof. I mean, Sam, these cars tend to go in the air quite easily, and Simmons was the guy who was blinking in and out. And eventually, when you're running so close with your opponents, having a guy that blinks in and out, connection issues, can create some confusion, and I think that's why that crash happened.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, the wall is really does kind of crowd the track a little bit. Like I said earlier on, it's so easy to get squeezed out, and I think that's what happened there. And once that happens, of course, there's not a whole lot you can do as a driver. Michael Blake having to, he's still defending from Ross McFarlane, who's making good progress. McFarlane did not have the race one that he wanted, and actually maybe will be able to go for a move here. Blake round the outside, there's a little bit of contact just ahead as well. We've almost got 3 wide. Kip Stevens up into 2nd place. Really hasn't been any changes of position recently between these guys, but Johnston has dropped down 2 positions. Sakovic, I imagine, maybe hit him or something, because he's still in 3rd. Stevens up into 2nd, but for how much longer? And we could see 3 wide here. No. There's contact, just about hung on to it. Who's that bit gaining? Nathan Davies up 5 positions. He could be up 6 very soon. Not quite getting the move done through the chicane. Gives his rival a bit of a helping hand as well. As down the inside goes Mark Woodhouse, and Mark Johnston, from remaining in 2nd place for pretty much this entire race, he's gone down about 4 positions in a handful of corners.
Some crazy battles here now on the long left-hander here going down the hill. You see battle for 2nd place, a battle also for 4th place. Look at that, almost 3 wide now into the double right-hander.
Oh, it's all going on at the moment, isn't it? And Davies actually moving ahead of Sakovic, I think. Yeah, so he's got that one done. So Davies now up 6 positions for him. So he's gained about 4 positions since this time last lap. And Johnston just about hanging on to 5th. Somehow Blake couldn't quite profit from that incident. And yeah, that was what happened then. And it was just an open door for Kip Stevens. He couldn't refuse.
Yes, and like we saw in the first race, the drivers in 2nd and 3rd place are battling, and the leader, of course, is able to get a nice cushion. 3.8 seconds for Colin Cunliffe. He's looking really good for the race win, but behind him, it's a coin toss, Sam. Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be hard pushed to call this one at the moment. With, yeah, 5 laps to go at the end of this one.
Woodhouse dropped to P10. He was sitting in P5 a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he must have... Was he the car who was nearly spun round?
I don't think so.
I think. Or was that Johnston? That may have been Johnston, actually. I'm not sure. I think he was right in the middle of that, though. I think he got, in some way, affected and, yeah, lost all this momentum and lost a lot of positions. Ross McFarlane, he's trying to gain another position. He's currently in 7th place. We've seen his few overtakes so far. Will he be able to do a bit of a dummy down the inside? No, happy to stay to the outside. You can muscle your way around the outside here, because if you can just keep the momentum through the first part, you can get a good run through the second. As he got his nose in there, not quite. Michael Blake had the liberty there just to push out to the edge of the circuit, and through this part of the track, it's very much just setting your car up. Ross McFarlane getting very good momentum through that section of corners, taking a slightly tighter line, all about the run now out to this next corner, and you can see just getting held up by the car ahead, stopped on the apex, and that's halted his momentum. We'll look to the inside of Michael Blake though anyway, and there could be contact between the two of them. Blake just about holds onto it, with McFarlane hanging on to 7th place for now.
Fantastic shots from the onboard there. You saw the drivers are really struggling, moving the steering wheel left and right, and of course you saw how enticing it is, even when you're not very close to your opponent, but that hairpin there, it really invites you and says, come on, make a move on the inside, you have the space to do that. But most of the times, you don't.
Yeah, if it weren't for kind of getting stopped on the apex, I think McFarlane would have been close enough, because he had a pretty good chance anyway. It was very deep on the brakes. So this time, I think he will certainly be fancying his chances to Adam McNally. Down 1 position from his start. So it has not been a great day so far for Adam, and he could lose another position. The 54 car just taking a slightly wider entry to the corner, trying to get a better exit. Once again, McFarlane really close to the back of Blake. It's 1/10 of a second between the pair of them. Blake once again going defensive though. They are catching up to the cars ahead somehow, despite all of this battling. And you can see, yeah, Davies kind of holding up Sakovic and Johnston. And yeah, if they're not careful, this is going to be about a 10-way battle very soon.
Not a lot of time left, because we're going to enter the 10th lap in just a matter of seconds, so it's going to be 4 laps left in the race. Oh no! Contact at the hairpin! And that's Davies going extremely wide, of course, and now some more contact, and more contact as well. McNally's around.
About 3 different incidents all going on at the hairpin there. Does mean that Sakovic is up into 3rd position, I believe. Oh, it's still got going on. Sakovic, all kinds of contact, and Davies might be able to go through here. So after being pushed out just a few seconds ago, Davies might be able to profit from these two colliding once again. 37 car on the inside, taking in lots of curb, and actually has made that move now. So Mark Johnston is just dropping down the field. There's more contact. McFarlane going through. They're all holding each other up. Davies is still under pressure. It's difficult to keep track because there's another spin or half spin behind. Davies on the inside currently of Blake. How is Blake now in there? So Blake could move up into 4th position somehow after having nothing to do with that battle just a few seconds ago. Could be 3 wide as well into this double 90-degree corner.
And Sam, you gotta be careful because I think the incident points are piling up for these guys, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these guys disappear. And here we go, Glatzel is off, disqualified.
That's it for Sven Glatzel then. We haven't really seen too much of him. Yeah, he must have been involved in a lot of collisions. Davies off the circuit as well. You don't want to pick up unnecessary 1Xs, of course. So Davies only lost 1 position from all of that. Yeah, I'm struggling to keep track of it, to be honest.
And by the way, that's not a jinx, that's a prediction. So it wasn't cursing one of the drivers, just a prediction.
Honestly, if you want to know what a commentator's curse was, go to about 50 minutes in from the Le Mans race yesterday, and you will see that was a proper commentator's curse. Scott Malcolm rivalry there, that curse.
Another great battle here up the hill as we are seeing all of these guys nose to tail. The tempers are extremely hot right now. There's been beating and banging for the past couple of laps, even a bit more. It's all happening here, and these drivers want to gain an advantage over their rivals as much as they can, especially with only a couple of laps left, a little bit more than that. And I assume, Sam, that most of these guys are running with a very high incident count, so they have to be extremely careful if they want to finish this race, and of course be eligible for the reverse later.
Yeah, that's the main thing, of course, because if you fall over 2 laps down, as we nearly see a move there from McFarlane, he somehow hasn't been involved in any collisions. I think McFarlane, he's just been profiting from all of them, up 4 positions. And he's got Bake next. But yeah, of course, you want to stay within 2 laps of the race winner. Otherwise, you won't be eligible, and that's really your race over and done with, because you'll probably be starting outside the 30. Sutton somehow in this one, he's up 23 positions. Is Ash Sutton, what a performance this is. Remember, wasn't eligible for the reverse grid, as we nearly see a move there. Nicole Foggy in there as well. These two will be fighting for the overall title, hopefully. But right now, this is only for 9th position on circuit. Foggy only just ahead.
Two laps to go, Sam. All happening, all still to be decided here. So apart from first place, this is a fantastic race from P2 downwards. Great action and excitement tonight.
Yeah, you can say that again. There's just from what 3rd to 18th. There's not more than half a second between any car from 3rd to 18th. That's absolutely incredible. What a train of cars. They've just been holding each other up, and the chain has just grown and grown and grown. And of course, the strength of depth as well in this series has yeah, really helped this battle. Guess we should. Oh well, still going. Having to go defensive here is McFarlane. He wants to get some positions done, but he might actually lose a position, is he? Now to Brian Holmes. I think he was trying to make the move on Holmes, to be fair. No, he actually did lose a position to Holmes. So Holmes, he's making progress now. Up 8 positions from his start. And yeah, he'll be moving on to Michael Blake now.
Foggy was overtaken by Sutton there, as we see Holmes trying to make a move on Blake as we go for the penultimate time into the final hairpin. Here comes the white flag as we see some more door-to-door action here in the back of this pack. 1 more lap to go.
Sutton and Hadfield. Oh, look at this. Sutton nearly into the wall. That was good bravery there.
Oh, contact there.
Just ahead as well. And Sutton might be able to profit from this. I think he's going to get McFarlane, certainly. Oh, and Sutton's nearly right. He's hung on to it, though. Fantastic save. Hadfield's going to lose a position to Foggy here. Oh, and Foggy gets a bit of a helping hand. In the end, that's helped Foggy gain another position. I think he gets McFarlane if he can get the run out, but McFarlane just about hanging on to that 8th position for now. Sutton will be on to the next few drivers, even though he's only got half a lap to catch them. Still all to play for from 3rd to 7th position here. Are we going to see a dive maybe for Nathan Davies? Sutton moves right with these guys now. Davies can't make a move into the penultimate main overtaking spot, I guess. They've still got the hairpin to gate. As they slalom for the last time through this S's section. Foggy just about ahead of Hadfield, but out in front, Colin Cunniff is going to be approaching the final hairpin. Whilst all the carnage has been going on behind him, from pole position, he's going to take an easy victory as Colin Cunniff. 7 seconds clear of the rest of the field, and Colin Cunniff wins race 2 of the evening. You can see the car spun round just in the background there. Sakovic is going to hang on to P3, Davies P4, Blake 5. Sutton will only get 6th in the end despite his best efforts. As they all come across the line. There was a spinner in there, Marco. Do you know who it was?
I think that was Holmes, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh dear. Having such a good kind of couple of laps for Hanks. He was up 8 positions, but there he is, finished in 22nd.
Wow, Sam, another fantastic race. We have one more left, and of course, one more reverse grid. I once again say, I was a little bit skeptical, but this track is really surprising me. Some fantastic racing, and the cars, the drivers, we see some fantastic saves tonight. I don't know what's going on, but most of the times when there's contact, these guys, I don't know how they are able to save their cars. So good for the show, of course, because the more cars we have in front battling it out, the better, of course. And like I said, one more race left. Congratulations to Colin Cunniff getting the race win tonight.
Yeah, that was a superb performance, wasn't it, from Colin? We can now go through the final standings. Colin Cunniff wins by 7.6 seconds. Easy for Colin. I'm sure he won't say that, although actually he might even be able to, because he, yeah, quite a hefty margin in the end. Kip Stevens, well done to him. Second place and an important point for the showdown. Maciej Sakovic finishes in 3rd with Nathan Davies in 4th. There's Michael Blake, Ashley Sutton up, if my maths is correct, 28 positions. Nice effort there from Ash. Then it was Ross McFarlane in 7th, and that Nico Foggy, Adam Hadfield, and Michael Hall running out the top 10. And then Mark Woodhouse, Wojciech Sawidovic, Pete Newman, Chris Wood, Pete Harrod, Jack Sedgwick, David Baker, Stuart McFadden, Martin Funtz, and Paul Smith running out the top 20. Behind that it was Adam McNally. Brian Holmes, who of course had that spin on the final lap. Max Wright, Robert Graham, Scott Malcolm, Mark Johnston, William Daniels, and a lap down was Lee Deemer. He will be eligible for the first grid. Drivers who won't be eligible are Sven Glatzel, Jack McIntyre, Rusty Laidler, Diego Melray, Jamie Rushworth, Daniel Brown, George Simmons, Stephen Baxter, and of course Alex Simpson as well. And it is time, I think, for the second reverse grid wheel of the day, Sam.
Yes, second and final time for this evening. We will be spinning the wheel and let's see what we get. Last one was fairly small, all things considered, so let's see if we get the full one this time around. Not quite, but it is still 45.
Right, so that's everyone. That will be Lee Deemer, if I've got the rule. I think he had to be within 2 laps. So Lee Deemer will be on pole position for race 3 of the evening. William Daniels will be in 2nd. And of course, after that spin, Brian Holmes will be starting in 6th-ish, because I'm not very good at maths. We will be back with you in about 25 minutes time for race 3 of the evening in the BSRTC. Lee Deemer is now only 2nd behind Ralph Cullen. I don't know how that's happened. Cullen then was about 8 seconds ahead at one point.
Deemer has been
now,
flying.
Yeah, a second a lap every lap. You know what, that kind of slow speed down the straights of the BMW may not be too costly, but Deemer, he's got so much more...
Oh, Cullinan with a big slide through the exit of
right,
Villeneuve. Now he's really got to hold the inside line in Toza. Now, oh, Deemer gets a great exit. Cullinan's going to have to block the inside into Piratella, surely. Surely he has to come across. Deemer's going to be through here, is he? No. These GT3 cars, they are quite large. So, you know, your vision can be obscured.
Oh, he's got the man here.
This is a great exit. This could be a chance.
God, just go
this time
all
he's
out on the
really
outside.
deep on the outside, and Cullinan loses rear, but he still somehow manages to fire the BMW out of the Tosa hairpin, level with the Mercedes, and the BMW is maintaining the straight line speed with the Mercedes. Here we go into Piratella. He throws it in, Cullinan. Does he have the adhesion? Does he have the grip? Yes, he does, is the answer. Dima tries to cut back, but Cullinan is on the inside for Acqua Minerale. There is no overtaking through here. Now, Sam, this could be the moment for Dima. Maybe not into Variante Alta now, but he needs to just have a good chicane and set him up. Cullinan is breaking in the middle of the course. Just
he's
not
wide.
the optimal line.
Oh, he's got to defend here. Got to go all out defense line. Get to the
Oh,
inside,
he
get
pushes him, he hits him. Makes a bit of contact on the straight now.
Oh, he's trying to do the dummy. Oh, you've got to defend.
Is he going to have a second chance? Is he going to be down the inside? Cullinan
Oh,
goes
wide.
deep. He goes deep on
He's
the brakes.
got
He's
him.
on the grass and leads.
they can get the run off.
But it's the final corner. And can Cullinan respond to that passing move by Dima? He's going to be very close. The line's coming up. Cullinan's got the shortest run, but I think it's going to be Dima. It is indeed. Lee Dima gets to the line and wins a brilliant battle. Brilliant.
Richard Warmingham, currently Evdoka's just a little bit ahead of him. Warmingham does take that lead, and it's going to be awkward for these final few corners. Warmingham floors it, he's away quick. Evdoka actually gets a pretty good run, but he's not going to be able to challenge across the start-finish line, just behind Steve Labelli, under pressure from Stuart McFadden already, but it's Warmingham away well from the pole position. Evdoka challenging into turn one, and Labelli having to go defensive against McFadden. McFadden looking to the inside. Could there be contact between these two? Not quite, but he's going to have to go defensive once again. Ayres just watching, just behind. Jamie Ayres could not quite take that. Stuart McFadden nearly took third position at the start of the race, but they're losing each other a lot of time now. And the top three pulling away up ahead. Ayres though is just concentrated on trying to make this move. He's gone to the outside, maybe came to a little bit of a dummy to the inside. Not quite. McFadden couldn't shove him off the circuit though, and round the outside goes Ayres. He just wants the cut back now, but they get on the power at a similar time. Slightly better traction there for Jamie Ayres, and McFadden is squeezing him right to the wall. That was good defense from Stuart McFadden. Ayres to the outside gain as the track narrows. Down the hill they go. A little bit deep on the brakes perhaps as McFadden, but there's not too much you can do on the exit of this corner because you're straight into the next complex. It's very much single file here, but Ayres goes into the back of McFadden ever so slightly, but that was nice defense from McFadden.
Quick glance at the front of the Mercedes, looks okay, as I think that is a dive bomb there. We see Cullinan on the inside of Malcolm. BMW against Mercedes, and he makes the move.
Another one coming up, Colin Robinson, and here we go side by side. McFadden on the outside, Ayres on the inside. It's going to be switched around though this time. Ayres has got to try to just hold it round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, but can he just stay level? Yes, he can, Stuart McFadden. That is brilliant driving there to just get his nose ahead, and he's going to have the inside as well into this hairpin. This is the great racing you can get around Motegi. Can he just push Ayres off? He tries to, and they make contact. That could have been a whole lot worse. Ayres may still even have the inside for the hairpin, but he really got his run compromised by that move from McFadden. Evdoka in the slipstream, just watching behind as the other XVR driver of Steve Labelli. Evdoka will look to the inside, and he's gonna maybe have his nose cut off a little bit. Warmingham leaves too much space, and Evdoka is gonna have the inside for this next corner. No, he's not. The run from Warmingham was just about good enough. He's gonna have to go defensive once again here. Evdoka flashing his lights, and he's gone to the inside here. Warmingham round the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next one, and he almost runs off the circuit now. Evdoka, side by side, he's going to have the inside for the next corner, and that should be job done for Michael Evdoka. That's a perfect move. Really driving well there, Michael, and he's into the race lead.
Everybody has joined this fight for 4th place, and I think the sooner Ayres can pass McFadden, the better for him, because otherwise these guys will go to town and try to make moves left and right. Great defending there, once again, almost 3 wide going to the hairpin now.
Oh, there's nearly into the back of him. I think that Ferrari has a nice little bit of straight line speed, doesn't it, which just allows him to fend off any attack. That is a surprise though from Ayres, and he's trying to go for it at a corner that you would not dream of doing it, and it's going to leave him vulnerable now to Lane O'Connor. He's trying to move through. Cullinan nearly loses it in the background. Malcolm as well. Robinson trying to get involved. For now, it seems like McFadden's going to be fine. O'Connor to the inside of Jamie Ayres. The two Mercedes side by side, and they've made contact, and Ayres has lost 2 positions in a couple of corners. Yeah, the amount of cones dispatched there. Oh dear. Oh, down the inside. Oh wow, that was a nice attack from Ayres, and it's put Robinson off. That was brilliant from Jamie Ayres. That was a really nice little tactic to just glance to the inside, and he's got the power through this turn 6, and he's going to be able to pull ahead.
You see, Ayres is very, very close, but he's a little bit scared, I think, because it might happen that O'Connor car can glitch.
Oh, inside of him.
Inside, yeah. That's a way to make a pass.
Deliberate, was it?
Oh man, he went straight through him and got the... Maybe that was the only way somebody could pass McFadden tonight, because he's making that Ferrari very, very large. Let's see a replay.
This must have been a mistake. Yeah, that was so a mistake. That was not a deliberate move. McFadden, though, could get pushed off a little bit.
Probably will not hit you, as Cullinan goes once again very wide there at the final corner, but I think he got a bit scared, because you see this car in the rearview mirror, it's suddenly so big. As he goes for a move on turn 1, he says, you are... Oh,
yeah. Ayres goes through. Ambitious move from a long way back into turn 1, and he was a long way back. Yeah, it's very clumsy there from Stewart. Yeah, it wasn't even on the brakes, was it? He was just a bit too eager to get on the throttle. He's been bang on. Malcolm, just watching this, he's not going to get involved in any unnecessary collisions. That's been his tactic for the entire season. And how has that profited him, Marco?
I had talked to him after last week's this week's MX5 race.
No, come on.
No. Oh man.
We're so sorry. But here we go. Michael Evdoka going to come round the final few corners here at Motegi, and he's going to take another race victory. He's had a real upturn in pace these past few weeks. And here he comes, Michael Evdoka, to take race 1 here at Motegi. And what a good drive that was from him. So James Underhill round the final chicane now. Scott Malcolm along with him. They haven't gone too early here. When will he go? James Underhill from the pole position, and away we go for race 2 of the evening. It's not a great start. No, so they haven't gone. They all got on the brakes, and have gone. That was chaos, and Underhill has got to a horrendous start. Thema also got a poor start. It's Malcolm leading the race, but I wonder if that's going to be a jump start for him. There could be contact, and there is contact. The XBR drive around. Ayres was in there as well, but it's Malcolm in the lead with Robinson right on his tail. McFadden perhaps sees a potential race victory. Stuart McFadden down the inside of Colin Robinson, and they go into turn 5 now, and he has got that position.
Very surprised that there was nothing major, because you know,
change for the lead, sorry.
Yeah, change for the lead. Yeah, McFadden is in the lead.
He's now up into 5th position, up 5 places himself. Underhill is now down 6. What a chaotic first lap this is, and Deema's gone for the move, and that's a great move from Lee Deema on Colin Robinson.
And Malcolm went straight for the box, so he has a penalty.
And yeah, that's put his showdown chances maybe in a bit of jeopardy.
Synchronized spinning there. No contact, I think, between the two guys. Going to be very defensive here on the inside. Let's see what Evdoka has in store for him.
Going defensive straight away with Stuart McFadden. You can just about muscle your way around the outside here, and Evdoka's going to try to do it. He's going round the outside here, and that's going to be an awesome move from Evdoka. McFadden tries to force him off, and now it's going to be side by side going into this next section of course. If McFadden can just hang it round the outside, he's going to have a chance. Evdoka trying to stay in there, but just cutting him off is McFadden. Now heading down this pit straight, and I'm sure McFadden will go right to the inside, right to the pit wall. Evdoka looks to the inside. He cannot find a way through.
To McFadden, and there Ayres is flashing his lights to Evdoka as they go once again back to the double left-hander here that will bring them under the bridge for the first time of the 2 times they get under the bridge.
Oh, he's going to crash.
Hard hit for Evdoka.
Like it's going to be in the corner of the car.
He hit that wall a ton.
Wasn't it?
Look at that, he went on the grass. Lost the drive a little bit even on the sand, and that was a very, very, very hard hit. And he's holding the wheel, you see on the right side, to go straight.
So he's right on the tail of Lee Deemer. He's going to not qualify for the showdown. Either of these drivers, and Josh Thompson is going to look to the inside. Lee Deemer not putting up much of a fight, and Thompson moves up into the top 3 positions. He was quite comfortable in the lead, seemingly had the pace to fend off his rival. But now this is super, super close. This is where McFadden hit Lane O'Connor in the last race, and look at Thompson. He's gaining. Not going to be in with a chance into turn 1, but someone who does fancy his chances is Jamie. And now Thompson's going to go through 1. He's going to go through 2 maybe. This would be an incredible overtake. Josh Thompson takes the lead of the race from absolutely nowhere, and it's only taken him a handful of laps to go from the back of the grid to the front of the grid. And whilst these two carry on fighting once against one another, and there's going to be contact. Ayres is round. Deemer moves up a position. Thompson in the lead.
Using the 2 dueling drivers as a pick basically, and getting into the corner in 3rd position and getting out of it in 1st position, as we see more contact there. I think that was Max Wright in his red car.
Oh, contact.
Stevens, save it. Oh man, in the gravel, 3 wide there, wasn't going to work, as McFadden is defending now from La Valley. And now he's blinking.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Labelli, and actually this time McFadden not defending. That's very uncharacteristic of him today.
Evdoka extremely close to McFadden there, he had to lift, otherwise there would have been contact.
Lavelli
is off. Lavelli had a very, very bad corner.
Oh, it's off again, and he's hit the wall. Well, he looked so strong, didn't he? And just lost it early on there, maybe overheated the tyres a little bit. I just got on the grass and it's clumsy there, similar to what Evdoka did, but with far worse consequences.
Let's see how will McFadden defend, of course, like he always does, all on the inside. Great run from Evdoka.
This is a repeat of the situation they had earlier on in the race, but Evdoka that time didn't feel the confidence to stick it on the inside. To be fair, McFadden was super late on the brakes, and that's compromised his run coming out of the final corner. And Evdoka sees a gap down the inside, but McFadden was not going to give him that gap. And Evdoka growing a little bit frustrated, and he's taking a slightly surprising line down into turn 1. This was the last lap of the race. Deemer tries to go for a move, and Evdoka's a little bit late in covering off, almost blocking off the Mercedes, and he might run into the side of McFadden. He has done. McFadden gets back the right way, but he's lost 2 positions straight away there. He might lose 4. Evdoka into 2nd place.
I mean, you are right, it was pretty clear from his body language that he was getting restless, and now a dive bomb from Jamie Ayres, and somebody's around. Yeah, it's Deemer in the grass.
Yeah, Josh Thompson coming round the final complex of corners now. In that McLaren, he's not going to challenge the championship now, but Josh Thompson crosses the line to win at Motegi. Race 2 of the evening goes his way. Here we go. Evdoka 2nd, Thompson 1st. Gonna round the final corner for race 3 of the evening, and away we go. Josh Thompson away really well in Evdoka. I thought he might have a good launch. It hasn't turned out that way because Ayres is pressurising him into turn 1, but not quite. Ayres just has to back up.
at night you have to maybe have a bit of a adjustment on braking points, etc. As we see, Evdoka very, very aggressive and good defending from Thompson on the inside as Birmingham tries to attack Robinson, and I think he will be successful in this double right-hander under the bridge. The top three are extremely close, and I really want to see Evdoka do well in this race, and I want to see what his pace is.
Oh, he's hit him!
Oh,
that
man.
was very clumsy from Jamie S, but Evdoka's kind of got away with it. He's going to lose out to Robinson and Dima. We've seen a lot of contact there, and Ez is apologising a lot there profusely.
You think that flashing the lights is code for apologising?
Yesterday in the Euro V8, and that was very different equipment, very different circuit, and that was warming up. Oh dear. So many drivers have done that, Marco. Getting on the grass, and it's just, guys, stay within the white lines, because it's suicide going up there. Might be able to extract a little bit more pace from it, just because I think he's got a little bit of damage on that car, and of course we saw earlier on.
Extremely fast stop.
Yeah, really
5
quick.
seconds. 4.5 seconds. Hopefully he put enough fuel in the car.
Curveball coming in. On that last lap, on his first fast lap, Michael Evdoka, 46.86. Josh Thompson, 47.61. That's almost a second difference. And here comes Warmingham, actually really close on Thompson. And we look to the inside here. Richard Warmingham, that's been as close as he's been.
It's an 8-second stop for Richard Warmingham.
Welcome back to the BSRTC Pro Series. I have an Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Marco Barbinet with Sam Kume on the cameras. Race 3 of the evening. And leading this race 3 of the evening will be Lee Dima on pole position ahead of William Daniels, Mark Johnston, Scott Malcolm and Rob Graham starting in 5th place. Marco, we've seen 2 awesome races so far. I think it's going to be the same for this one.
Absolutely, and a lot of these drivers are a bit angry. They want to get revenge, they want to get a good result because they had bad races in the first 2 of tonight, so it's going to be a cracker this one. Who knows, maybe Holmes can get a good race from P7, my prediction.
Well, Daniel's not taking the start of this race, unfortunately, so it's a better start for Lee Dima. He should have a comfortable gap going into the first complex of corners, but no, he's not going to have a comfortable gap because Mark Johnston has got an awesome start and he's round the outside in turn 1. What a start for Mark Johnston. He's into the lead of the race and it's going to be him who will be pulling away in the early stages here.
Oh, big contact there.
Behind 3 wide.
Bogey's involved
in there as well. Paul Smith across the grass, the 57 car as well. Got a couple of slides just ahead.
I think there was an Apex car in the fence there.
Oh dear, Marco.
Oh, big crash! Jack Sedgwick is involved. Also, I think Caniff is involved, the race to winner, and they are still beating and banging their doors. What a chaotic start. We have 2 very nice race starts in race 1 and race 2, Sam, but this race 3, it's all happening right from the start and more contact here as they go on to the backstretch.
Yeah, that was Foggy just making a bit of contact there. Demon having to defend for Graham currently, and actually Max Wright is going to get involved as well. We haven't seen too much of Wright today, and he hasn't been able to make that move yet. But you can see the gap that Mark Johnston has got, 2.7 seconds. Starts from 3rd place, 2nd place it turned out to be. What a start this is, a dream start for Mark Johnston in this race of the evening. He's looking very strong for the race win today. Still all going on here. First lap into the hairpin. Always a little bit chaotic. Rob Graham having to go around the outside. Scott Malcolm trying to get involved there in the 31 car. But just behind him actually is side by side between Front and McFadden. McFadden around the outside of Front. Can he make that move? He will have the inside for the next corner. Malcolm just getting a little bit involved as well, and that hasn't exactly helped. McFadden just getting stopped a little bit. We're going to see more side by side here with Wojciech Sawidovic up 9 positions. If Sawidovic can get on with it, he could perhaps even fight for the race win here because he's got superb pace. Sawidovic is 3 up 1 place. He might be up another place here. Down the inside he goes past Scott Malcolm. He was a little bit unfairly tapped there by Stuart McFadden, and up 11 places now for the number 1 car.
Yeah, Martin Front dropping position, you see on the side of the road, trying to merge back into the traffic so quickly, involved in the first lap shenanigans. William Daniels, Brian Holmes, Colin Cunningham, Brian Holmes, Colin Cunningham, Jack Sedgwick and Jamie Rushworth all having a big damage in that first lap, and look at that! Oh, that was a dive bomb. I mean, Malcolm going for the move, I think it was Malcolm there. And yeah, that was the definition of dive bomb, I think, Sam.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's deliberate or not. He went a long way off the circuit. Of course, it's all tarmac out there, so you don't lose too much. But he has lost a few positions because of how close it is. It's very close behind as well. Newman, Foggy is going to make the move on Newman. Down the inside he goes. And Wood is just behind these guys. Look at this. Oh dear, I don't want to call what's going to happen here. And that's not what I would have called, because there's a car almost into the pits there. I think that was Melville as well getting involved in that one. Absolute chaos. McIntyre out of the race in the 33 car. You could see it coming, Marque, and that's what delivered.
I mean, very bad crash there. And once again, Sam, we are seeing the leader, you know, getting the lead and profiting from the chaos happening right behind him.
Sawidovic up 14 places, 2 laps into this race. He could win this one, could Wojciech Sawidovic, and even by his standards, it would be a fantastic race victory. Rob Graham is now up into 2nd place, and now those guys will try to be pursuing Mark Johnston out in the lead. This one is not over yet, despite, of course, Marque, like he said a few seconds ago, of course, the leader pulling out a very large gap. Hopefully they'll be able to come back at him later on in the race. Side by side, Dave Baker trying to go for the move on Stuart McFadden, just has to stop and look at this. There's just no brakes whatsoever down the field. Nicole Foggy now up 10 places, Ash Sutton up 14 places in 9th place. Certainly need to watch out for those 2 drivers.
Yeah, as we see one driver running very aggressively on the curbs there, and once again, I think that's maybe Newman, I don't know, maybe car was really hard. Yeah, it's Newman. Oh, look at that! Into the hairpin, here we go. Sviridovich on the inside and Graham on the outside, and Wojciech gets the move done up to P2, and now we will try and close the gap with the leader, who is not very close at the moment. Gap is I think around 3-4 seconds, maybe I'm exaggerating, I'm eyeballing from up here. 5.6 seconds, so a lot of time that Wojciech has to make if he wants to get that first position.
Yeah, it's going to be a really long job if he's going to do this. About half a second per lap I think he's going to need. It's possible for Wojciech, but he's got to put in some very strong laps, and of course cannot afford a single mistake. Max Wright just holding off Stuart McFadden currently. There is Ash Sutton trying to get the move on Adam McNally now. So Sutton in the 01 car. CQR car. And will McNally go defensive? Yes, he will. Sutton will still look to the inside. You know that he can go for it. In the end, I was surprised that he didn't, because there was maybe a little bit of room down the inside there. Just has to stick behind the 54 car for now.
Let's see if Sutton will use his dummy move once again down at the hairpin in just a matter of a few seconds. As he goes into the grass there, so that was an off track for sure. But he hasn't lost a bit, and let's see if he will go for a move down here, maybe on the inside.
He did. He's very deep on the base. Has made it. That's the 25 car very slow. That is Max Wright just losing. I think he may have lost a couple of positions there, Max Wright. So that's not what he wanted, but in the end that helps. Ash Sutton just make that move in the end, because Adam McNally was a little bit stranded out on the outside there. And Sutton, well, you can see him getting past these next 4 cars in a matter of a couple of laps. First up for him will be Max Wright. And he's already looking for a way past.
As we are going into the infield section, the twisty turning section with the climb up the hill and then down the hill in the left-hander. Like I said, beautiful. Oh, ooh, hello, hello. Oh, beautiful shot there. We see this very nice front grille of Ash Sutton's Kia Optima there. He's extremely close, but he is on the outside. Let's see if he has the space to make the move, as all is happening also in front of them. Dummy on the outside, moving on the inside, but there's no space. Oh, there's a guy on two wheels there. I mean, like Sam said on the chat, there is no time for replays today in this third race, because it's all happening.
Yeah, definitely. Just a bit of reference, by the way. And Sutton's trying to get to the move still. Johnston on that last lap was over a second slower than Suridovic, so he's coming back at them, and Sutton is coming back as well. He's up into the top 6. I think he fancied his chances against Stuart McFadden. He'll be right onto the back of him very soon. Rob Graham is having to defend from Dave Baker currently. Baker showing good paces. He has so far today anyway, up 8 positions from his starting place. And around the outside he goes. Can he carry that momentum? He's gonna try to carry the momentum. Down the inside goes Dave Baker. Rob Graham could lose out here, but we're going to see more side-by-side action, as we've seen so many times today, into this turn 3. Turn 4 section of corners. Side-by-side currently for the two CQR drivers, and they've gone into each other. Quite incredible.
And that is race-ending damage, I think, for both of them. Let's see a replay here. They both went into the inside wall at a very bad angle. So I think it's game over. Yeah, both cars flying through the air. And I think that is it.
So that was McFadden and... Not sure who else
and
that
Paul
was.
Smith. Oh, Graham, yeah, thank you.
Graham, sorry. Yeah, so a big impact for those two drivers. Of course, Rob Graham a couple of laps ago was running in the top 2, but not anymore. He's a long, long way away from that. Does mean that Dave Baker's up into 3rd. Ash Sutton is in 4th place. The race win is probably off the cusp for Sutton, although he won't believe it right now. Nicole Foggy right onto the back of these guys now as well. He's been making, good progress through the field so far, up 13 places from his start. And you'd be hard pushed to say he's not going to end up on the podium.
Previous lap, Wojciech Zuridovic got 1.2 seconds on Johnston. Now 1 second gain this lap again. So he's putting the pressure on the race leader, trying to get that race win. Wojciech, of course, trying to stop that mood of leader getting in front, avoiding the carnage, winning the race like we saw in race 1 and race 2. Race 3 might go in a different direction.
Yeah, certainly looks that way at the moment, doesn't it? Wojciech, I was saying how he could maybe bring it back. Didn't expect him to be this fast. Pete Harrod nearly into the rear corner of Adam McNally there. And of course, Nick Foggy, you can see how these quick guys just easily get onto the back of the rear wing. And Nick Foggy will go to the outside now for this next section of course. I really ought to learn some of the corner names around here. I doubt they even have names. A lot of American circuits don't, of course. But I should learn corner names. I'm just saying the double 90-degree corner currently. But Nick Foggy could not make that move. And yeah, once again, through the S's section, we'll just have to line it up for the hairpin.
I think it's only numbers around here, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Right, okay. Well, there's a lot of kinks as well, though, isn't there? So, I don't know. It's probably like 14A, yeah. 14B.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of different track variations. So depending on the configuration, the corner number, I think it's changing. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll learn them for
next
season.
Try, I think. We need corner names, proper corner names. You know, Stowe, Maggots, Beckett, because the British know how to do race circuits. Oh, contact there from Foggy. He has made the move there on Pete Harrod. Up into the top 7 now is Nico Foggy. Next up will be Adam McNally and Max Wright. I will just say, before we commentators curse him, Max Wright doing a very handy job in 5th place, up 1 position. Not the fastest driver out there seemingly today, but he's doing very well and staying out of trouble in this race 3.
Also, Baker is gaining a lot of ground on the race leader, gaining again 1 second per lap, and he's bringing Sutton with him. So I'm checking on the gap right now. It's not going to be easy for these guys to go and catch Wojciech Zviridovich there. So Johnson might be safe in the second spot if Wojciech is able to go around him. But I mean, these two guys are coming, Baker and Sutton.
Well, it's big pressure for Wojciech, isn't it? Because he's got to get that move done very quickly. Otherwise, Baker and Sutton could be with him by the end of this race. Here's George Simmons. He's been in the every chain, I think, today. And he's in another one here. And he's lost a few positions. And there could be contact. Simmons almost round. He very much just turned in on his opponent there. Wasn't a whole lot the driver on the inside could do. But thankfully, single file through that next section of corners, and that was a replay, and I was getting excessively excited because I did not know it was one.
Battle for the lead here. Wojciech Zviridovich closing in on Johnston there, and Mark Johnston has to defend because Wojciech is really fast. He has got laps in hand in order to plan the move. But it's not going to be easy, of course. It's never easy in this championship. The more they battle, the more Baker and Sutton, even though it's a long shot, can close the gap and maybe join the party.
Well, how much does Johnston want this? I don't know if he's still in showdown running. If he is, then second place would be very nice. And here comes Wojciech Zviridovich. Don't know if Johnston was defending. I think he was, but it was just too late. And this should be pretty simple for Zviridovich in the end. Johnston will try to hang it around the outside. Gets a nice little run, actually, does Mark. And he will be able to stay alongside. This is not over yet. Through the SS section. And they make contact. Can Zviridovich hang on to it? Can either of them hang on to it? They do. They've lost each other a lot of time, though. Somehow, Mark Johnston stays in the lead, though. Mark, I was writing him off there, Johnston. But to give credit to him, he was very aggressive. And he's managed to come back.
Let's see how much will Zviridovich be aggressive here at the airplane. Very aggressive indeed. Going for the dive bomb move, and Johnston moves way to the outside, and that's easy peasy for Zviridovich, and he gets the first place. But look there behind, Baker and Sutton are coming.
Yeah, only 3 seconds behind now on that last lap. Johnston 39.12. Baker 36.79. So much faster, obviously. And if Sutton's smart, I'm pretty sure he'll just stay behind his rival, and they should be able to catch up to Mark Johnston in the Smoltz car by the end of this race. Nico Foggy now up to 5th place. I think that's as high as he's going to get. Fantastic chain here. But he should be okay to the end of the race now. The number 9 car is nearly 6 seconds behind the next driver. So I'll just be sticking there for the end. By the way, Alex Simpson back out on circuit, up 25 places. He's the big gainer out there, and has gone very under the radar. He is in 12th place currently, with Ross McFarlane right on his tail. He's not going to be easy to shake off his McFarlane, but crucial points for Simpson for that top 12 bid in the championship. And McFarlane's actually tried to come back down the inside, not quite. It was very chaotic just behind. Dan Brown, Scott Malcolm, Kip Stevens, all very close to one another. And here they are. Brown just behind Dima, who started on pole position. Has not gone his way for lead today, or in this race 3.
And Simmons is having connection problems all night long. That's too bad, of course, as the battle continues. As we see, one of the Apex car without its hood, which is never a good sign, of course.
Yeah, it must have been Brian Holmes. Oh, so Holmes, of course, was involved in that collision on the first lap. He's done well. I thought he was out of the race, to be honest, after that hefty collision. But to give credit to him, he's come back through the field. He's in 21st place, which, considering how much of that's car is just junk now, I think, from the look at it at least. He's still trying to make overtakes, like Maciej Sakovic next for him, but he might lose a position here to Steve Baxter. I think that might be how it turns out to be. Oh, there's a collision just ahead as well.
Yeah, that's Hatfield, I think. Stevens as well involved. I think Hatfield has been disqualified from the race. Yeah, dropping fast down the order, disappeared from the racetrack. Disqualification for him, and of course, that's the race over.
Yeah, very disappointing for him. I'm half surprised we haven't seen more of them. I think we saw a few in the second race of the evening. Actually, I think we both saw about 4 or 5. But it's half surprising that we don't see half the field actually get disqualifying, because around this circuit there's been plenty of contact today. Now Ash Sutton trying to still make that move on Dave Baker. They might catch Mark Johnston. They're only about half a second a lap faster. Yeah, they're not going to catch him, are they? Unless Johnston makes a mistake. 2 laps to go. Basic maths. 2 is less than 2.4, so I don't think they're going to quite make it. So it's all about Sutton now, just trying to get a podium from this.
Yeah, 37 flat for Johnston, 36.8 for Baker and Sutton. So whatever advantage they had before, they are not showing it on the clock. So now Johnston looks like a safe bet for P2. Let's see if these two guys, Baker and Sutton, actually square off for P3, or they just keep the positions as they are.
Well, of course, Sutton's already confirmed that position for the shed. I think Dave Baker's confirmed as well, despite being a couple of places lower. Actually, is Sutton confirmed?
I don't think so.
No, he's.
I think he skipped. Yes, he skipped a few rounds. When he races, he's always up there in the front. But of course, in such a long season, it's very hard to get in the showdown if you miss a lot of rounds, and of course you drop a lot of points to your opponents. But still, I think he's still going to show up for the races, because he is one of those drivers that can always put on a show and always able to fight for a race win, like a wild card of sorts, as the final lap I think is about to start.
Yeah, if he's not qualifying for the showdown and he still turns up for those races, he could be quite an inconvenience for a few of the front runners, because he will not care if he makes contact with another driver, whereas they will have a championship to fight after. So that could be a very interesting dynamic in the closing stages of this championship. 1.7 seconds now, the gap between Johnston and Baker. Baker took a little bit more out on that lap. 0.6 of a second. Doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. And even this battle, we're not seeing the trains anymore. It's quite sad, because we've kind of got this bit of a battle, but it doesn't look like anything's going to change Max Ray. Yes, still a little bit too far behind Adam McNally. He's having to defend against Chris Wood, though. That could be interesting if they make contact, because Alex Simpson will be able to profit just behind. Can Wood get a nice little exit here? A bit of a slide for Max Wright. And Wood might just be able to hitch this one up a little bit earlier on the power, perhaps. Not too much of a slipstream for Max Wright from Adam McNally. And he's going a little bit defensive early on. And he should be fine for now. Wojciech Swidovic, though, he's only got about a quarter of a lap to go. And after, at one point, being about 6 seconds off the lead, he's going to now take the race victory surely by about 3 seconds. He really needed everything there, did Wojciech Swidovic. Great racecraft early on to gain 16 positions in the first few laps. And once he got some clear air, he was absolutely unstoppable. Wojciech Swidovic wins race 3 of the evening in the BSRTC. Mark Johnston hangs on for an awesome second place, and it's still going on here. Nathan Davies defending, I think, against Ross McFarlane. Is McFarlane's going to be able to make a move? Will they make contact? McFarlane has got the short run to the line here, and he might just do this. He has done it by 2/100ths of a second. He'll be pleased with that one, Will Ross, even though it was only over 12th position. Just the remaining cars crossing the line now. Kip Stevens ending up in 23rd position after those contacts. Not great for his chances in the showdown, but I think he should still be in that top 12 at the end of the day. course, Marco, we were doubting maybe the racing round this Sonoma circuit, but despite there being quite a few contacts, they were always light contact. It's a narrow circuit, it's a tight, twisty circuit, and a bit of door rubbing. It's always good to see.
Absolutely, fantastic night of racing. I mean, you can almost never go wrong with the BSRTC Pro Series. I mean, once again, I come to a track, I have an idea in mind, and then my ideas get changed, and I have a completely new perspective on this Sonoma track. It's almost making me want to race here, which is saying a lot. But apart from that, fantastic racing. Congratulations to all the 3 race winners, and I think we've had some competitive racing all throughout the field, all the 3 races for all the positions, and we even got a nice battle for the lead in this 3rd race. That was the only thing that was missing from this night of racing. Good racing like always, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. But for race 3 today, it is Wojciech Swidovic taking away the race victory, 2.8 seconds clear of Mark Johnston. In the end, Dave Baker did well to hang on to 3rd with Ash Sutton from 23rd to 4th. Nicole Foggy, he made Baker progress as well, 21st with Michael Hall in 6th. Pete Hyde finishes in 7th and Adam McNally in 8th. There's Max Wright and Chris Wood rounding out the top 10. Ike Simpson was the big gainer out there, 26 positions, came from 37th on the grid in 11th. There was Ross McFarlane, Nathan Davies, Sven Glatzel and Mark Woodhouse in the top 15. There's Daniel Brown, Pete Newman, Maciek Sakovic, Lee Deemer, Steve Baxter, Brian Holmes, Martin Frunt, Kip Stevens, Michael Blake and George Simmons in 25th. William Daniels was in 26th. Then a lap down was Colin Cannon, and then 3 laps down Scott Malcolm and Adam Hadfield, and more than 3 laps down Robert Graham in 30th, Paul Smith 31st, now Stuart McFadden, Rusty Laidler, Jack McIntyre, Diego Murray, Jack Sidgwick and Jamie Rushworth 13 laps down on the race winner. Hopefully we'll get some interviews with drivers, always in this series, and currently we don't don't really know what the next race of the season is. Marco, have you any ideas as I desperately look on Discord to find?
I'm quite sure next race is going to be at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit.
Okay, well, I'm not going to miss that one then. I'm not sure if we'll be commentating on it, of course, but
Just give me 30 seconds in order to verify this very important piece of information, because not only that, but of course the regular season is getting basically closer and closer to the end. So it's Brands Hatch GP. Thank you, Sam Kumo. So I was right. And after that, it's going to be on the 4th of October, Mount Panorama. And on the 11th of October, the final race of the regular season in Suzuka Grand Prix configuration. Then 1 week off, and on the 25th of October, circle that day on your calendar, because we start the showdown with Road America. And then after that, every week, Watkins Glen, Interlagos, Monza without the first chicane, and the grand finale at Daytona Road, of course. So, I mean, championship is getting closer and closer to the end, and we still have no idea where it's going to go. But all fantastic tracks waiting for us in the next few weeks.
yeah, absolutely. We have thankfully been joined by Colin Cunniff, and well done, Colin. I'm going to be really harsh here, and I can't remember all your races. Well, you got a podium, I think, today, didn't you? But yeah, well done.
I won race 2.
Yeah, so it was very chaotic. You won race 2, didn't you?
Yeah, I wasn't through talent though. It's been quite a bit of a nightmare last few weeks, and just happened to luck into it really. Same with last week as well. I've not been driving well at all, so it's good getting a win, but I would rather do it actually fighting. So people said well done and stuff. I just wasn't really that fussed.
Yeah, I can understand. Of course, you got a fantastic start, didn't you? From pole position, of course, and just sprinted away from the rest of the field. Where you could you see everyone else fighting behind? And
yeah, that was I was just sort of using it the same as did last week, just sort of try and manage the tyres and make sure I've got something left in case any one of the faster guys came through. But yeah, it was a decent race. Like I say, once I saw the gap going up, then it was just a case of trying to hold back and just make sure that I just finished the race, because it's not one of my favourite tracks. So can't really say I was confident of just being able to drive it home without any incidents.
Yeah, of course, with the showdown getting closer and closer, what are your aims? I'm not quite sure where your position in the championship is, but have you still got your eyes on that top 12?
Well, funny enough, the win actually puts me in contention for getting in as a wild card. Again, it was not something that I was really aiming for, but after the win last week, I thought, oh, maybe there's a chance. And that win now, I think, puts me up there with a chance now. So maybe another win will guarantee it. But again, I came into this race just wanting to do my best, and then race 1 was just a racing disaster, and I ended up just lucking into pole and keeping it clean. Race 2, race 3, I was ended up lagging out. My iRacing, my sim crashed. So I managed to come back in, but luckily I managed to still stay on the same lap, or a lap down, so I should have some points for the team, I think.
Yeah, that was very important to score those points. And of course, next week we've got Brands Hatch, the GP circuit, a little bit different to this, but I guess shares some characteristics. What are your feelings towards that?
Again, not one of my tracks. Probably a recurring theme here. But yeah, it's just one of those tracks again that I usually just try and survive. So we'll see what happens. Lack of practice is really killing me at the moment. So I'm not having as good a season as what I did last year, but obviously something's paying off at some point.
Yeah, of course, against such a quality field, to get a couple of wins this season is super impressive. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just like to thank GT Omega for sponsoring us this season. They've also got Isla Base and Logo and Stitch Embroidery. I also like to thank the V-Racer guys for sticking around with us. They've had opportunities to go and race elsewhere, but they've decided to stick with us for the rest of the season, and we're all working really well together, so it's good that they've stayed on board with us, so just like to thank them as well.
Thanks, Colin, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
I think that pretty much wraps us off for the evening. So, of course, we will be back with the BSRTC next Thursday. We've also got the next broadcast for us will be the team stream, the iRacing Grand Prix World Championship series on Saturday midday or afternoon, like 14 GMT, I think that is. So certainly catch that one, and then the BSR Porsche League on Sunday evening. Also got the Grand Prix Championship Series Sunday afternoon as well. That's the inaugural round of that. And of course, yeah, BSRTC at Brands Hatch at the same time next week on Thursday. But for now, from me, from Market, and from Sam, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.